What's up guys, this is Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of What of Naruto Was the Legendary Silver Fox Part 10. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 19. Now this is the way to travel, Kira in her fox form joyfully declared, laying easily on top of Naruto's head, with Hinata being held in Naruto's arm in her fox form like a newborn kit. I couldn't agree more, Kira-chan, Hinata said, snuggling into Naruto's hug. I'm glad you're both having fun, Naruto said, a foxy smile on his face. Sakura and Haku, both in wolf shape, were carried on Sasuke's shoulders, both content to relax. It's not fair, whined Ino for not knowing how to transform into a wolf yet. Don't worry, Ino-chan. When we stop, we'll show you how to change. Considering Kira-chan was the one who taught us in the first place, it's fairly simple, Sakura said cheerfully. It's still not fair, Ino cried, his eyes welling up with tears. Troublesome, Shikamaru murmured. You said it, Choji said quietly. The rookie 14 and Kin, who was still bound up, were traveling through the thick woodland until they came across a stream with a tiny clearing big enough for them all to camp out for the night. The sun was still high in the heavens, but it was clear that it would set in a few hours. Wow, this is a lovely location. Who knew this little clearing was here? Tenten marveled at the surroundings. Yes, it's very nice. May I now put him down? He's a big guy, and his shield doesn't help, grumbled Neji, bearing a bruised Rock Lee on his back, big bumps on his skull, and swirls in his eye. Honestly, Tenten, couldn't you knock him out after we arrived? Humph, well, it's his responsibility for always saying those things. Plus, I gave him a fair warning, Tenten said, pouting and crossing her arms. I wouldn't call striking someone on the head a reasonable caution, Neji reasoned. So, where should I put him? Neji asked, twitching his ears as his legs wobbled. Drop him anywhere, Sasuke said, dropping Sakura and Haku as the rest of the rookie 14 began to set up tents and traps. Oh, before I forget, Neji, Lee and I found the missing scroll before we found you, Tenten said as Neji lowered Lee, leaving a tiny crater where he fell. Good, just make sure no one else finds out, Neji said quietly, and now, if you'll pardon me. Crack, I need to rest my back, moaned Neji, cracking his back and going to lie down on the grass. He must heft a ton. Tenten blushed and said, I know some massage techniques that can help you relax. Anything to get rid of the pain, groaned Neji as Tenten began to rub Neji's back, causing Neji to wag his tails reflexively. They appear to be smooth and fuzzy. Wait, when did Neji get a second tail? Tenten wondered. Hey, Neji, how many tails do you have? Tails? I only own one. It should be obvious from my backside, Neji said, startled to see a second coyote tail. WTF is this? Neji's shriek notified everyone to what was going on, prompting Kira, Naruto, Sasuke, and Shikamaru to draw their weapons, particularly Naruto as he touched Blaze with its glowing jewel, ignite thy flames to light the darkness. MOYASU. A crimson glow engulfed Blaze as Naruto held a golden long sword katana with a circular grip and a gold, dome-shaped hilt similar to Spark's hilt, and instead of a blade, it resembled Okami's horn. Neji, what's wrong? Is it a foe? Could someone explain why there's a second furry appendage growing at the base of my spine? Neji asked, grasping his second tail. Oh, is that what this is about? Naruto inquired casually. Naruto, don't behave like this as usual. What the hell is this thing? Exclaimed Neji. In case you haven't noticed, all of us have two tails, Neji. There are 9 ends in total for all of us. Don't you remember Tobo having 9 of them, or the Kyuubi also having 9 tails when she attacked? No offense Kira, Sasuke clarified. None taken, Kira said. Think of it as a level measurement, Naruto said, beaming, and on the plus side, thanks to you, I've finally awakened my second blade. I can't wait to see this thing in action, Naruto exclaimed, admiring Miyasu. I swear these surprises of yours will kill me one day, grumbled Neji. Well, just so you don't have a heart attack during the exam, your blades, like Sasuke's, Naruto-kun's, or mine, can change form. Eventually, all you have to do is state the real name of the blade, and it should materialize, given that it is fashioned from Tobo's fangs. The names of the blades will be revealed to you in time. Neji, all you have to do is listen, Kira said, transforming Hine back to its normal katana shape. Whistle. I'd like to have one of those fancy weapons to use. It would make fighting less of a hassle to worry about, Shikamaru explained. Is everyone okay? Hinata inquired as the rest of the rookie 14 and Kin arrived to investigate the ruckus. Everything is in order. Neji just scared himself with his own second tail, smirked Naruto. How come you, crack, ah. Neji stood up and was about to strike Naruto for his remark when his back broke again from carrying Lee, causing him to fall to the ground. Damn it, Lee, you're still a pain even when you're unconscious. Lee remained comatose throughout the experience, trapped inside his own crater where Neji had abandoned him. Relax, Neji, it's just muscle tension from carrying Lee. I'll have them lost in no time, Tenten said as she resumed massaging Neji's back. Leave those two alone. It appears they want some privacy, Sakura said, grabbing Sasuke's elbow as the others returned to their tasks. Kiba, Sasuke, and Naruto chose to catch some fish for supper by the stream, with Akamaru laying down beneath a tree for cover, while Haku, Sakura, and Ino collected herbs for medicine and cooking, with Sakura and Haku describing how to swap forms to Ino. Hinata had already started a fire and unwrapped a cooking vessel that Naruto had prepared in his emergency sealing scroll that he always carried. Shino, Choji, and Shikamaru were putting up traps of Shikamaru's design around the camp, with some traps outside the perimeter to catch the adversary off guard and preserve traps. With Tenten rubbing his back and Lee still struck out in his crater, Neji was still unable to do anything. I hope you didn't concuss him, Tenten. Otherwise, this would be even more challenging for the two of us, Neji explained. You really have a lot of tension built up in these muscles, Neji, Tenten said as she gently applied pressure to release more tension in Neji's muscle. Is Lee really that big? That hole should have already revealed the solution. Whatever weights he's hauling, it wasn't a picnic. It's either his carapace or some kind of unique ability he acquired when he received his discovered abilities. Kin was untied and her wounds were treated thanks to the girls, but now that she was free, she could easily have escaped into the forest to find her team, or found another team and told them about their group in order to steal their scroll, and stolen the stolen scroll during the confusion, but she couldn't. She was just seated there, hugging her legs and watching Hinata light the fire for the meal. How come they have such faith in me? Don't they realize I'm capable of betraying them and stealing their scroll? I'd like to escape, but I'm safe. Dot and Toasty. Just like when I'm with you, my dear Ta. Kin-san, are you alright? Hinata inquired, gazing at Kin. Why yes, I'm fine, Kin stammered. It'll be night soon, and if you want to stay with us, we have a spare blanket. Thank you, but aren't you worried I'll steal your scroll or something? I could easily attack one of you while you're sleeping, or I could alert another squad to your location. You don't appear to be that kind of person, Kin. Besides, if you wanted to escape, you could have easily done so while each of us was occupied doing something, said Sasuke, who was carrying a big group of fish on his back alongside Kiba and Naruto. We also promised that none of us would harm you, and when we promise something, we intend to keep it, said Haku, who appeared with some herbs, and Sakura, who was holding a tiny blonde wolf with purple tip ears and claws, and a white abdomen that was believed to be Ino. Ah, Ino is so cute in this form, Hinata said as the other females stroked Ino's soft hair. Kin couldn't stop herself and went up to rub Ino's hair, causing Ino to joyfully yelp at all the attention. Anyway, as I told you earlier, we don't want you to feel uncomfortable or violated by anyone else. Trust me, it's safer if you stayed with us as well, Sasuke said, beaming, as Naruto began climbing the fish with a kunai. But, for the time being, how do you like your fish? Grilled, filleted, or do you have any special requests? Asked Naruto, twisting his kunai. If it's not too much trouble, I'd like mine diced with a few of these mushrooms that Haku picked earlier today in a soup, Shino said, holding up some wild mushrooms. Everyone was perplexed by Shino's lack of communication. Sure, no problem, Naruto said, displaying his foxy smile. The sun was setting as Naruto, Hinata, and Choji, who runs a restaurant chain, decided to prepare the fish to everyone's liking except Lee, who was still comatose. I'm getting concerned about Lee. Normally, he'd be jumping around and running around like a little kid in a candy store by now, Neji said as he stood up to check on Lee, only to discover that Lee hadn't altered his position since he lowered him. You've got to be kidding me. Neji exclaimed as he drew closer and heard a faint snoring sound. He's been asleep the entire time? I've been concerned for nothing all this time. I swear I'll kill you, Lee, said Neji, taking up a rock, only for Naruto and Sasuke to grab his arms and attempt to make him drop the boulder, which was pulverizing Lee into powder, only for Neji to lose his footing as the boys lost their balance and fell into the river. Well, that was embarrassing, Tenten admitted, his perspiration dripping. Boys will be boys, Ino said as she ate her fish, as the other females bowed in accord. What does that mean? Exclaimed Kiba. Wham, quiet you, with no respect for women in kunoichi, and doubting their leadership skills and abilities, you wouldn't have gotten this far without Haku-chan. After all, what did I say about being loud? The sun has set, So that means there are more dangerous things out there right now lurking in the shadows, Sakura said, waving a wooden spoon at Kiba. She has a point there, Shino said as he sipped his broth. Troublesome. Slurp, oh, man, I need to write this down. Naruto, Neji, and Sasuke emerged from the river, dripping damp, only to be immediately dried by Naruto's foxfire and rejoined the others. Many thanks. For everything. No one has ever treated me this well, not even my comrades or fellow ninja from my community, and only someone who is dear to me has shown me this much kindness. Normally, my companions would abandon me to care for myself, sharing their own catches and supplies while I had to ration my own food and supplies. I don't know what to say. Sniffle sob, Kin said, weeping floods of happiness and sadness. For the first time in her life, she felt happier to have met these strangers who treated her compassionately than with her own peers who berated her for everything. She couldn't stop weeping in front of her enemy and competitor until she felt a set of arms circle around her, causing Kin to glance up to see Ino hugging her while stroking Kin's hair. Shish, it's okay. Let it all out, Ino murmured. Kin-san. Just because you're a ninja from a separate community doesn't mean you're any less human than the rest of us. Your peers are frigid to you, and I can sympathize because I've been there, so I know what it's like to want to be just like that treasured person you keep near to your heart. Ha, ha. I suppose this sounds silly coming from a half-fox demon, huh? Chuckled Naruto, causing Kin to quietly snicker. Kin, there's something we want to ask you, and please don't take this the wrong way, but... Sasuke struggled to find the right words, but it appeared he didn't have much of an option but to be direct with her. Do you know anything about an invasion? Invasion? Kin, wiping her eyes, inquired, invasion of what? We heard reports of a Leaf community invasion between your community and the Sand Village. Please let us know if you have any information. You can live in the Leaf Village and meet new people. You won't have to fear about being treated like trash, and we can also save your buddy from the Sound Village. Both of you can live here together to make a fresh start, Sakura said cheerfully. Kin was taken aback by what she had just heard, that these strangers were offering her a new life and a fresh start instead of living in the Sound Village, where one had to rely solely on oneself to survive, kill or be killed, and where any male ninja could easily rape her if it weren't for certain secret passages she had discovered. Not only that, but I could bring her here to live with me and avoid her comrades, where they won't treat her poorly or live in continuous dread of one of them murdering her, Kin joyfully thought, but I don't know anything about an invasion. Lord Orochimaru only informed us that we would be taking part in the Chunin exams. I'm sorry, but I don't know anything. If such a story exists, it is most likely among the Jonin ranked or better. My team was only told that we were going to the Chunin exam and nothing else, other than our sensei's order to kill Sasuke Uchiha, Kin lamented. That's fine, Kin, but as Sakura-chan mentioned, if you want, you can move in with us in the Leaf Village, and we can rescue your friend so the two of you can be together here, Ino said, beaming and stroking Kin's hair. Thank you, Kin said with a smile, she strokes my hair just like her. I mourn you. Kin's final musings before falling asleep were about Tayuya. What are your thoughts? Is she telling the truth? Shino inquired, raising his glasses. Of course not, she belongs to the same village that is about to attack us. Of course, she defended her pals and most likely made up that sad little story to keep us off her track. Kiba stopped Sakura's backhand with the lousy, little, when we get back to the village, the first thing I'm going to do is talk to your mother and sister about improving your language, Sakura snarled. By the look in her eyes, I know she's not lying. Her irises are those of someone who has witnessed the demise of a loved one. I know that look all too well, Sasuke said, his thoughts returning to that night. When he felt several hands in weight around him, Sasuke's musings were disrupted. Sakura and Haku each gave Sasuke a loving hug, while Ino rested against Sasuke's side, still carrying a sleeping Kin. I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to erase those terrible events that happened on that horrible night, but remember that we'll always be right here, waiting to listen to anything that might disturb you, just like you listened to me when I told you about my mother, Haku said. Thank you, all of you, my lovely mates, Sasuke said, embracing each of his friends and wishing Yugo was there as well. Naruto simply stared at the scene in front of him and embraced Hinata and Kira, wishing Kurenai and Anko were there to experience the moment with him. Tenten's countenance was content as Neji and Tenten had already fell slumber unknowingly cuddling each other. By the way, Shikamaru, there's something we wanted to ask you about, but it can wait until morning, so get some rest, Naruto said. What a drag, but if it can wait until morning, I'm not going to complain, Shikamaru said sluggishly. Mother, if you can see me up there, I'm not lonely anymore, Sasuke said, leaning back against the tree where he was lying, cradling each of his companions in his arms. I'm grateful to have encountered all of these individuals in my life. I still miss you a lot, but I know you'll always be looking over me, and I'll make sure to offer Itachi my respects and a piece of my mind the next time I see him," inwardly chuckled Sasuke as he gazed into the starry night sky, the dying fire as his source of light. Everyone was beginning to wake up, with Neji and Tenten wearing a heavy blush and averting eye contact due to how they awoke. Flashback: Sasuke was on the first watch, feigning to be sleeping in order to deceive any foes who were fortunate enough to escape the traps while holding Ino and Sakura in Ino's embrace. After a few hours, he became sleepy and chose to rouse Sakura, who agreed to take over. "Do you think we should leave them alone?" Sakura inquired, looking over to Neji and Tenten's sleeping figure. "Why not? They both seemed content. If anything, Naruto would take advantage of this opportunity to photograph them sleeping together," grinned Sasuke. "That's true," Sakura laughed. Sakura tenderly kissed Sasuke on the lips as he fell slumber. Throughout the night, everyone took turns dodging Neji and Tenten, as well as Lee, who questioned his conscious mindset and whether he had any mental trauma as a result of Tenten's beating. Later that evening, Naruto was beginning to yawn, struggling to stay conscious, and chose to rouse Ino because she was the only one who hadn't had a turn yet. Naruto gingerly placed Kira and Hinata on the ground, taking care not to wake them, then walked over to where Sasuke and his friends were sleeping and softly shook Ino aware. Ino awoke with a weight on her bosom and looked down at Kin's sleeping figure. "She's had a tough life, hasn't she?" Ino inquired, caressing Kin's hair. "Yeah, but she appears to be sleeping peacefully," Naruto said, gazing at Kin with a fraternal expression in his eyes. "Now you can rest, Naruto. Dawn should be approaching soon, judging by the night sky, and you still have to talk to Shikamaru about whatever it was you wanted to talk to him about," said Ino, wondering what Naruto wanted to talk to Shikamaru about. "That's correct. Night, Ino, yawn," Naruto said as he walked over to his position between Kira and Hinata. "Good night, Naruto," Ino smiled. A couple of hours had passed when the night sky began to turn dark, and then a pale blue as the sun began to rise. "It's already been 3 days. We still have 2 days, but I can't help but think that things are going to get a lot harder, particularly with this invasion taking place," Ino reasoned. "Alright, the sun is rising, which means it's time to." Wham! Lee had just awakened up, startling Ino and everyone else, only to be struck by a slew of rocks. Everyone turned to see where the jutsu came from, only to see one of Neji's tails clutching one of his ninja ken blades and resheathing it on Neji's back. "Damn guy sensei and his custom-made alarm clocks. I thought I told him to stop sending me those or I'd personally make sure he never had kids," grumbled Neji as he tightened his hug on Tenten. "Yeah, me too," Tenten sighed, sliding deeper into Neji's hug with her eyes closed. After hearing each other's words, they both snapped their eyes open and quickly parted in a sitting position, heavy blushes on their cheeks, attempting to stutter out an explanation to each other while staring at the ground. "We thought you two would be happy waking up together after what we saw." "Oh, to wake up in the arms of your beloved, holding each other in a lover's embrace," Ino said, her eyes twinkling and her hands clasped in front of her, sparkles encircling her. "It's nothing like that," exclaimed Tenten and Neji as they exchanged glances before hastily turning away, flushing. Flashback comes to an end. "She undoubtedly believes I'm a pervert now and despises me, and this is just as I was beginning to like her. Fate is so wicked," Neji mused. "I can't believe I was acting like that all night with Neji. I know he won't do anything, but..." Tenten's mind began to wander to an image of her laying nude on her bed with an equally naked Neji on top of her, grunting desire fully as he slowly kissed down her thin neck going directly towards her. "What am I thinking? Wrong thoughts. Bad thoughts," Tenten mentally shouted, sustaining a deeper flush than usual and striking her head to drive away her perverted thoughts. Kin approached the rookie 14 with a resolved expression on her face, saying, "I've decided." Everyone glanced at her, puzzled as to what she was talking about. "I've decided to join the Leaf Village, and I'd like to invite a friend to join as well. Her colleagues don't like her, but she's a fighter, and I'm confident I can persuade her to remain with us." In reality, any location other than the Sound Village is a good spot to stay. All of the kunoichi in the Sound Village are regarded as common prostitutes, and all of the shinobi move in groups in order to capture any kunoichi they find appealing and rape them right there. I've witnessed it numerous times, and it's one too many for me. In truth, as you witnessed, sound shinobi would swiftly sacrifice a sound kunoichi to save their flesh. In reality, many kunoichi in our community are now submissive as a result of how they are treated. Some struggle but ultimately yield. "It's unbearable," Kin cried, collapsing to her knees as recollections of numerous rape incidents that she had witnessed came back to torment her. "The only reason they haven't targeted me is because my friend is one of Lord Orochimaru's bodyguards, and is one of the most feared kunoichi in the village, even among her teammates," due to her brute strength, trap designs, and genjutsu ability. She even discovered some secret passageways for me to use when she wasn't around to safeguard me. How terrible. Kunoichi can be as powerful as any other shinobi. This is so stereotypical, Tenten stated. Orochimaru? Does that mean Orochimaru founded the Hidden Sound Village? Sasuke inquired. Kin just nodded, blotting away her tears, with Haku, Ino, and Sakura squatting next to her, comforting her. At least we know he didn't trick two different villages, and that the true enemy we need to be concerned about is the Sound Village. But what is the invasion for? Is he trying to appease an old hatred for us? Naruto wondered. Orochimaru is a Sannin, one of the 3 legendary ninja, and an S-ranked traitor of the Leaf, Shikamaru declared. It appears that the old man may be able to help fill in some blanks on this, Naruto said. Alright, Kin, after we finish this part of the exam, we can go talk to the Hokage. When the invasion begins, we'll see if we can put you in a secure location. Also, as of now, you are under the security of the Uchiha clan, Sasuke grinned. Along with the Kazama clan. This way, those bastards from the council can't touch you or force you to do anything, Naruto said angrily, recalling how irritating the civilian council members were. In the meantime, Kin-san, we need you to return to your teammates so you can continue to the next round. There's no doubt that any team with a missing member will not advance to the next round as a condition, Hinata said, Kin flinching as she had to return to her disloyal comrades. However, we're not sending you alone. This is a scroll we created, and it contains some of our shadow clones sealed inside in case we ever got into difficulty on an assignment. I think this will benefit you more, and it'll warn us if you're ever in trouble so we can come and rescue you, or help you escape. After all, you're our friend, Naruto said, beaming as he handed Kin a tiny green scroll and clutched it as if her life relied on it. Don't worry, Kin. We'll keep you safe no matter what. You can rely on us all, and don't fret about your fellow Kunoichi comrades. We'll see what we can do to safeguard them as well. Thank you, Naruto Onisan, you're like the older sibling I never had, and you, Sasuke-kun, everyone. Thank you very much. Just rest for the time being, Kin-san. You'll need your strength later. Also, if we do wind up fighting in the immediate future, don't be hesitant to go all out. When a Kunoichi sets her mind to it, she can be just as effective as a shinobi as Tenten-chan. So even if you lose, you'll know you gave it your all, and that's what makes you a prideful failure and fortitude, Hinata said in a motherly tone. I'll do it, Hinata Onisan. Wasn't there another matter that needed to be attended to, Sasuke-kun? Haku inquired. What a drag, so what did you want to talk to me about? Naruto, Sasuke, and Kira shifted their focus to Shikamaru, who was extending his arms idly. Actually, it's more of a decision. The Canine Alliance, comprised of the Fox, Wolf, Coyote, Dingo, Dog, and Jackal clans and summons, is presently searching for appropriate individuals to designate as their heirs, such as Neji for the Coyote clan and Sasuke for the Wolf clan. Of course, we can only select you as a candidate for one of the tribes, and only you can demonstrate your worthiness to be designated as his or her heir, Naruto stated. So you're saying that if I choose to do this, I'll have to take some kind of test, and if I pass, I'll get those ears and tails, as well as whatever other characteristics you have? Shikamaru inquired. Yep, Naruto agreed, moving his head. Perplexing, what if I choose not to do this? Nothing, Kira said, beaming. Is that it? No lethal repercussions? No, I have no option situation. No strange curse passed down from generation to generation. Shikamaru was taken aback. That's right, nothing at all. You just live the rest of your life like everyone else, Kira explained. Why can't choices in life be more like that? Okay, I'll try it, Shikamaru muttered. It might be helpful in the future, and we'll need all the strength and assistance we can get, Shikamaru sighed. Kin, we need you to keep this a secret as well, but don't worry, nothing will happen to you, we promise, Sasuke said to Kin. Kin blushes as Sasuke makes her feel comfortable and protected. Are you sure you want to summon in here, Kiraheim? Isn't it a little narrow to summon someone so large? Inquired Naruto. Giggle, don't worry, Naruto-kun. The amount of chakra I use to summon the others is proportional to his or her size. After all, if one clan head was in difficulty and shrank to conceal, it would be difficult to call another clan head to assist if your opponent saw a giant creature materialize out of nowhere, said Kira, kissing Naruto's face and making him blush. Yeah, you're right, I should have expected that from you Vixenheim, Naruto said as he drew her into a passionate embrace. Wait a minute. What do you mean, a dog clan? There's no way something like that could exist, or my clan would have heard of it, or at the very least carried the calling scroll for it, given our expertise with canines, Kiba exclaimed. How do you explain Kakashi-sensei summoning a whole pack of dogs if that's true? Hinata inquired. Well. Sigh. I've had enough of your haughty attitude, Kiba. You're always attempting to make Naruto-kun look like a moron by making yourself appear superior to everyone else. I adore Naruto-kun, and he respects me for who I am, whereas you only look at me for my appearance, Hinata grumbled. Don't worry, Hinata, you're just saying that, but once I'm top dog in the alpha male for my clan, you'll see who's the better man, Kiba said arrogantly. Growl, your sister should be considered a saint for living with you, exclaimed Hinata as she walked off towards the river to cool off, Naruto and Kira trailing behind her. What is that supposed to mean? Snarled Kiba. Kiba, sometimes I wonder what goes through that thick head of yours, Sakura admitted, and I really need to talk to your mother and sister because apparently, you don't understand anything when it comes to women. What's that got to do with anything? Everything, Kiba, because you can't see what's going on in front of you. Hinata, like Kira, adores Naruto with all her heart. Naruto, who had a difficult upbringing, never completely grasped the idea of love until Kira arrived, and then Hinata and the others. As a result, Naruto regards all of his fiancés like nobility, not because they come from a prestigious bloodline, but because they are truly the gems of his heart, and he would happily give them the world if it meant he could bring them happiness, Shino said, putting up his shades. Wow, Shino, that was really lovely. I've never heard anyone use poetic allusion to describe the nature of love, Ino said. In a way, I can relate to Naruto's predicament of being perceived as different because of something inside one's own body, and like him, I would gladly give all the joys in the world to the girl of my dreams, Shino said. What a load of nonsense. Why can't I just keep Hinata and give him the balance of his? See, that's why females don't like you. You allude to them in the form of an animal rather than a human. You never once considered a girl's emotions, instead believing that you can have any girl you want simply by claiming that she is yours because you are the top dog. Grow up, Kiba, or you'll be very lonely in life, Haku interjected. Along the waterway, Hinata was attempting to calm down by washing her face when she felt two affectionate arms circle around her waist. Hey Angelheim, want to talk about it? She asked, turning her head to meet Naruto's cerulean blue eyes and Kira's red sunset eyes next to her. It's just frustrating that he never realizes how much I love you and only you, Hinata said, relaxing into Naruto's hug. It's okay, Angel-chan. After all, I'm sure his sister and mother can put him in his place, Kira said as she snuggled next to Hinata in Naruto's hug. I hope so, because he's driving me crazy and I'm about to snap him in half like a twig, Hinata pouted. Chuckle, I'm sure you can Haim, Naruto said, massaging both his mate's back, Hinata and Kira purring contently and nuzzling his neck and wagging their tails. Oh, almost forgot, I kissed Kira Haim but not you. Will you forgive me, Hinata Haim? Naruto inquired, puppy dog eyes on his face. Giggle, I'll forgive you, Naruto-kun, if you kiss me right now, Hinata said, as Naruto lowered his head and kissed Hinata passionately on the lips. When Naruto, Kira, and Hinata returned to the group, Kiba was arguing with the others until he saw Hinata and said, Hey Hinata, tell all of these idiots why I should be the alpha male, and how much you like me. Wham! Hinata had had enough of Kiba and kicked him in the crotch, making all the males present flinch, including Lee, as Kiba was on his knees holding his crotch, but was forcibly pulled to his feet and pinned to a tree by Hinata with her ears flat, signifying her dominance. Kiba, I'm only going to say this once because I'm done with your attitude. You're an arrogant, self-centered, inconsiderate person who believes he's better than everyone, that just because you come from a clan that handles dogs, you don't believe there could be another type of clan with canine attributes even though several are standing right in front of you, and that brute strength can solve any problem. You are only concerned with yourself. For example, I've seen how you look at some of the women in the village, including Kurenai-sensei and Anko-chan when she first appeared, and you have the audacity to claim that I'm your girlfriend despite the fact that you've never asked me out, know nothing about me, or that I'm engaged to Naruto-kun. Plus, I'm confident the only fun time you can conceive of with a female is having sex with her. In fact, I'm fairly confident you'd sleep with some random female you thought was hot, and then have the audacity to go back to the person you're dating without feeling guilty. I also know for a fact that you believe women are only useful for childbirth, cooking, housekeeping, and entertainment because you said so aloud in the school one day during a health course. Women have a difficult time finding the proper individual to love because of men like you. Please halt me if I'm mistaken. Hinata ventured to let go of Kiba, crossing her arms and tapping her foot angrily. That's not correct. And when I said that, I meant. What did you mean, Kiba? Hinata grumbled, I'm still waiting, and all you're doing is proving my point. Well, however, Naruto appreciates me for who I am. Not because of a piece of paper, or a tribal allegiance, or for dominance, but because he genuinely adores me. Was it you who ran after me just now when I went to calm off? No. Naruto-kun was concerned about how I was feeling because he saw how distraught I was and wanted to make sure I was okay, whereas you were ranting about how you're superior than him. Yeah. Then there's the reality that he can pick up any woman. Kira-chan, Kurenai-sensei, Anko-chan, and I are the ones who truly decide whether a girl becomes Naruto-kun's mate. Right in front of you, you saw me pass Kurenai-sensei as one of Naruto-kun's mates. If Naruto-kun likes a female and she likes him back for the proper reasons, he comes to us for Kiba. He doesn't just go out on the street and search for every female he sees. He solicits our feedback on the girl he has selected as a possible candidate, but the final choice is entirely mine and the other vixens. It's true, a couple of random girls have approached me, who no doubt have some sort of connection to the civilian council and are trying to acquire my bloodline, but are usually scared away by Hinata-heim, Kira-heim, and Kurenai-heim. Hell, most of the time when some random girl I don't know approaches me and says she wants me, I usually hide behind my mates, kind of like Sasuke does when he's being chased by his fangirl club, Naruto said, making Sasuke visibly shiver and his tail flutter. The girls can also recommend anyone, like how Anko-heim was recommended by Kurenai-heim. Kiba, you keep blabbing on about how you're the top dog, and how you can take on anyone like you did in the first part of the exam, when you fail to recognize that everyone, including yourself, has limitations. Also, if you can take on anyone, why not attempt doing things on your own? Stated Kira. I did things on my own, like when I faced one of those so-called demon brothers, or when I aced the test. As if I needed anyone's help, Kiba said triumphantly. Then explain it to Akamaru, Kira said, pointing to Akamaru, who appeared wounded and disappointed. What's the matter, boy? What was that for Akamaru? Kiba questioned as he moved to pat Akamaru when Akamaru bit Kiba's hand, causing him to draw back his hand. Growl from the bark, Akamaru? Akamaru whimpered as he strolled away from Kiba and seated in front of Haku, his back to Kiba. Haku lifted up Akamaru and caressed him as tears streamed down his cheeks. There, little one, it's all right, Haku said in a motherly tone, calming Akamaru. What happened to Akamaru? He would never intentionally attack or snarl at me. I had a feeling nothing beneficial would emerge from the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Why should anyone believe you when you invaded the hamlet and killed everyone? Slap Hinata stood in front of Kiba with her hand stretched out and a furious expression in her eyes as a crimson handprint appeared on Kiba's face. Hinata, what? You don't have the right to call yourself a human being. Just once in your life, use that object between your shoulders you call a head, and think, Hinata exclaimed. What you did, Kiba-kun, was completely unacceptable. Kira-chan has already demonstrated to be a most trustworthy friend. Lee was taken aback by what he had just heard. Yeah, what's the matter with you? Tenten stated, she didn't even do anything to Akamaru. Kira's eyes widened at what Kiba had just said, and she concealed them behind her bangs as she took a step back, tears streaming down her face. Kira-heim? Asked Naruto, concerned. I'm sorry, Kira said quietly as she spun around, several clear liquid orbs dropping to the ground, and dashed into the trees, transforming into her fox form. Kira-heim, please wait and return. I'll deal with you later, Inuzuka, Naruto snarled as he raced off after Kira. I'm coming with you, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as they both transformed into foxes in response to Kira's smell. Other locations in the Forest of Death. Where are you, Naruto-kun? Anko was jumping from tree to tree, a resolute expression on her face. That serpent scoundrel is somewhere in here, and Chunin exam or not, I have to get you out of here. Please be secure, darling, Anko pleaded. Consider yesterday. Anko was presently consuming a large quantity of dango while perched on top of the booth where the scrolls were distributed, a concerned expression on her face. What is this strange feeling? It's been bothering me since last night and hasn't gone away, but I didn't want to concern anyone, particularly Kurenai-chan and Tsunami-chan. It continues drawing me towards the forest, almost as if Naruto-kun and the others are asking for my assistance, but I can't meddle with the test without a good cause or he'll be dismissed, and I don't want to deprive him of the opportunity to become a Chunin. But, with the fear of attack. On the first night of the second exam, Anko had remained with Kurenai and Tsunami in their part of the Uchiha complex, with Anko and Tsunami immediately getting along and talking together. Growl, I just want to go in there and look for them, Anko grumbled, fighting the impulse to scream. Did you feel it as well? Anko glanced down from her perch to see Yugo and Kurenai approaching her with the same concerned expression on their faces. Anko rose from her seat and glanced at Kurenai and Yugo. Does it feel like Naruto-kun and the others are in trouble? Kurenai inquired. I felt it too, only mine was different. It felt like a sting, more specifically in the neck, Anko said as she nodded her head and glanced at Yugo. Anko's eyes widened in terror at what Yugo had just said. Did it feel more like where my curse mark is located? A panicked Anko inquired. Yes, the same location. What does this mean? Do you think our marks serve as a link with our mates? Kurenai inquired, feeling her mark. I don't, Anko-san. Hurry up, you need to see this, yelled a Jonin who was running towards them. Anko, Kurenai, and Yugo followed the Jonin to the memorial stone, where they observed several Anbu staring at something on the floor. Do you recognize any of these people? We found their bodies like this just beyond the woods, but we couldn't identify them until we found these, one of the Anbu said, holding up several passports with pictures of the rain ninja who returned her kunai and her two companions. Their faces are missing, almost as if something tore it off like a mask, another Anbu observed. It can't be. It simply cannot be. I had finally found someone who cared about me. Someone who sees my true self. Then he appears and chooses to wreck it. No, please don't tell me he's Naruto-kun, Anko said quietly. Kurenai, report to the Hokage what happened here. Yugo, accompany her and inform the Hokage that Orochimaru has arrived in the hamlet. Are you sure, Anko? Kurenai questioned, his eyes widening at what Anko had just said. Yes, and he's after Sasuke, Anko snarled. How can you tell? Yugo inquired, attempting to calm down. The feelings we had last night had to be some kind of warning or signal telling us that Naruto-kun was in trouble or severely injured. Yugo, you said the sting you felt was in your neck. Your mark must have been informing you where Sasuke was most injured, or that he'd already put it on him, or worse. No, they're alive, I know it, Anko stated emphatically. Kurenai, hurry to the Hokage. Yugo, accompany her as backup, Anko said, shifting her focus to the others. You men guard the forest's perimeter. No one enters or exits. Maintain continuous wireless contact with one another and report in. If even one of you fails to report in within a few seconds, or suspects something, don't be afraid to assault. You do not want to misjudge this adversary. Also, instead of using your code names, spin them in various patterns to confuse the adversary. This will serve as your trap. I want the Jonin to scour the neighborhoods together, looking for anything suspicious. Send out a signal right away if you discover anything. Now get moving. The Anbu and Jonin dispersed, leaving only Kurenai, Yugo, and Anko. What about you, Anko? Kurenai inquired. I'll look for Naruto-kun and the others. However, what about? I don't care about petty vengeance any longer. I just want to locate Naruto-kun and the others. I finally discovered love in my life with the one person who sees the true me, and I'll never pardon myself if that cowardly snake takes him away from me. Kurenai-chan, we've been feeling it since last night. One more night. Anko's emotional boundaries began to crumble as tears streamed down her cheeks and Kurenai hugged her. He'll never forgive me. Naruto-kun could be in pain out there, and it's all because we didn't respond in time when we should have, Anko murmured. Don't say that, Anko-chan. Remember, he's out there somewhere. Now go find him and the others. Make sure he's safe, Kurenai said reassuringly as the three kunoichi split up to do their assigned tasks. Please be secure, Naruto-koi, Anko thought to herself as she leapt from tree to tree. Flashback comes to an end. That was yesterday when the feeling abruptly vanished, but I later felt a pleasant sensation, as if the worst had passed. Still, that doesn't alter the reality that Orochimaru could still be in here. Where have you gone, Naruto-koi? Small clearing, you idiot, yelled Sasuke as he pinned Kiba to the same tree Hinata had done earlier. Tell me, has there ever been a single idea formed inside that sorry excuse of a head? What do you think, Uchiha? Inuzuka, you heard me. Why don't you try pondering for a change? It really works. Or would you like me to help you kickstart that pea-sized brain of yours, though I can't promise your survival? Please, Sasuke-kun, that's enough. Just let him go. He's not worth it, Kin said pleadingly, putting a comforting hand on his shoulder. You better thank Kin, Iruka-sensei, and whoever loves you up there, for sparing your flesh, snarled Sasuke pushing Kiba to the ground. Kira still sobs at night over what she did. She still can't get over the reality that what occurred that night all those years ago wasn't her fault, but she still feels responsible for their deaths. She and Naruto were always there for each other in times of loneliness, hate, and everything else. That's when Iruka entered our lives, becoming a father figure to us and teaching us to honor others while also being a gentleman to ladies. Something you obviously never learned. Just keep in mind that if anything occurs to them, their blood is on your hands. She did something else to Akamaru. You did this to Akamaru, Kiba. You said you took on one of my brothers by yourself, correct? Haku questioned, Kiba smirking. Then how come I remember Akamaru being there with you as you both took on one Chunin opponent? Not to mention that Akamaru was peering over your shoulder at the other sheets for solutions and telling you what to write. You hurt Akamaru's feelings by stating you don't need anyone's assistance, and you're taking credit for something you and Akamaru both accomplished. That's why Akamaru bit you and growled at you. He's supposed to be your partner, but you were so fast to dismiss him, thinking you did it all to appear powerful. In other words, Akamaru has lost regard for you, Kiba, even though he was always by your side during difficult moments, and you never noticed, Haku said coldly. How come he's with you? Kiba pointed to himself with his forefinger and said, he's supposed to be my partner. To be honest, Kiba, you haven't been very encouraging of your relationship. Akamaru has forgiven you numerous times, but it appears that he has ultimately lost confidence in you. A partnership is a relationship formed by two entities collaborating to achieve a common objective, not by one entity using the other as a common instrument, as you did with Akamaru. Akamaru went to Haku because he finally recognizes her as the Alpha, as you so kindly phrased it, which you still refuse to accept. Even I recognize my bugs by allowing them to fly in the open from time to time, and I appreciate the bugs who gave their lives in battle. As I previously stated, a leader is more than just the physically biggest person in the group. A leader demonstrates concern for the well-being of others and is able to place the team ahead of himself or herself, all of which you lack due to your hubris. In the meantime, I concur with Sakura. It appears that only your mother and sister can make you see sense, and ideally you'll learn the lesson this time. Various parts in the Forest of Death, Kira Heim. Please stop, yelled Naruto as he and Hinata spotted Kira in front of them and continued sprinting until Kira stumbled on a root and skidded to a halt. Kira Heim. Naruto and Hinata came to a halt next to Kira, who was quietly sobbing with tears streaming down her cheeks. It's okay, Kira-chan, Naruto said as he licked Kira's face. Hinata nuzzled next to Kira. No, sniff, it isn't. I can still hear some of their cries when I was battling for control. I recall the sensation of their blood on my talons. It was so bad that the few seconds it took to recover control felt like a lifetime. It continues to torment my thoughts. Kira Heim, don't pay attention to what that fool said. I don't care what anyone says, and neither should you. Simply demonstrating that you care about and respect others demonstrates that you are not a bloodthirsty beast. In fact, I don't believe you should be referred to as a demon. Rather, you should be referred to as a guardian angel because you are kind and delicate while possessing the ability to defend everyone around you. It wasn't your responsibility, but if you still feel responsible, let me share some of your weight, just as you helped me share some of mine when the villagers threatened me. I'll help you carry that burden, Kira-chan. Not to mention that Kurenai-chan and Anko-chan would assist as well, so please disregard what Kiba says, and let's go back. If you ever need to speak, we'll be there to listen because that's what friends do for one another. Besides, Shikamaru still has to do his test, and we don't want to miss that. It could be entertaining to watch, Hinata said, making Kira and Naruto laugh at the prospect of Shikamaru battling a monster on par with a tail beast. Naruto-kun, Hinata-chan, thank you, Kira said quietly as the three fox nuzzled into each other, expressing their affection. Along with the others, Naruto reappeared in human form, holding Hinata and Kira in his arms, both in fox form. When Kira bowed in front of everyone and said, "Please forgive me for my sudden rudeness," Kira and Hinata changed into their human form. I could have put you all in peril because of my departure, and I pledge not to do it again. Don't apologize, Kira. You were right to be upset. Furthermore, it is Kiba's responsibility to apologize to you, not you to us, Shikamaru said. How come I should? Kira is the nine-tailed fox, so she has the most battle experience and is without a doubt the strongest of us. So, if she really wanted to annihilate the community, she could have done so already thanks to her links to other summons that are on level with her at maximum strength. There would be no logical reason to try to gain our trust, Neji said, staring at Kiba. But Kiba, please do us all a favor and stop. Hinata was correct about you. You're a bully. Besides, if you believe you're so strong, let's see you take on all of us in triumph, Ino said, as everyone stared at Kiba, causing him to flinch. So much for the top dog, if he's scared of taking on all of us. So Kira, let's get this test of yours over with, Shikamaru said. What a drag. Right, and thank you to everyone, Kira said, beaming. Kira took deep breaths in and out to calm herself down before beginning to execute, Canine calling jutsu. Hand signals. A large cloud of smoke descended on the area, exposing a large horizontal mass of brownish-red hair with 9 brownish-red tails and large pointed ears that moved every now and then. Everyone was amazed at the creature's immensity until they heard a sound emanating from it. Snore, mumble. Everyone took responsibility after discovering the creature was fast slumber. Miharu has always been, and still is, the laziest of all of us, with an appetite to match. Kira swiftly recovered her poise, perspiration dropping at the dingo's actions. Kira yelled, "Hey Miharu," only for the big dog to continue dozing and muttering. Miharu. Kira, please wake up. Snore, mumble, damn it, Miharu, get up. The massive dog began to move, causing Kin, Team 8, and Ten to recoil, only to discover that the dingo had simply turned over, putting its head between its two front paws. "No thank you, I can't eat another bite," the dingo murmured in a feminine voice. Everyone's perspiration evaporated after hearing the dingo's remark, except Kiba, who laughed arrogantly, "Ha, ha, ha. This is supposed to be one of the creatures that can match the Kyuubi no Kitsune's complete power. I'm sure those tails are just for display. I could tackle this pathetic excuse for a summons and easily prevail." Kiba, how would you like to experience being neutered without anesthetics firsthand? I always wanted to try this on shinobi who spoke bad about kunoichi, but sadly I don't have any experience, Tenten said, pulling out a large set of hedge shears with a dark, menacing atmosphere encircling her. "Perhaps you can help me practice by being my first victim," Tenten said in a low, dark accent, her eyes glinting with malice. Kiba landed on his buttocks, swiftly backing up to a distant tree, concealing his genitalia while sweating gunshots. Every other male ninja in the group flinched, with Lee and Neji hiding behind Lee's shield while peeking over the top to see if Tenten would turn on them. Naruto was hiding behind Hinata and Kira, hoping that his vixens would protect him from the madwoman with giant bladed scissors. "Why did I put those in the weapon scroll for perverts that I gave to Sakura?" mumbled Naruto, crying waterfall tears, with Kira and Hinata gently patting his head for reassurance. "Sakura, why did you give her that weapon scroll?" anxiously questioned Sasuke, his ears twitching. Shikamaru, Choji, and Shino were concealing behind Sakura, Ino, Haku, and Kin. "Well, she's a weapon expert, and I wanted her expert opinion on it," Sakura explained as she looked around at the situation in front of her. "It appears to work a little too well in her hands," Shino said. "I'm not hungry anymore," Choji sighed. "What's the matter, and why are you hiding? You're up for the challenge." "I can't even hit a girl," exclaimed Sasuke. "Huh. But in Wave, you struck me with a fire jutsu on my sleeve and held a kunai against my throat," Haku said. "Actually, the fire jutsu was a fluke. I was hoping you'd stop or dodge it. I didn't expect it to actually hit anything, and as for the kunai, well, I was bluffing and hoping Kira would be able to handle things if you resisted." "A man never attacks or lashes a girl, whether kunoichi or civilian," Aruka taught. "If you come across an enemy kunoichi, the best thing you can do is create a capture trap that does the least amount of harm to her, use sleeping powder or genjutsu, or, if all else fails, block or avoid all of her strikes or use some kind of apprehension jutsu." Of course, there was also the option of peace talking, to see if you could avoid fighting and bloodshed, because a gentleman always treats a lady, enemy or not, with the utmost respect and courtesy, even if she is stronger or higher ranked than you. A lady is a lady no matter what shape or form, and you must always treat them like a proper gentleman. "Naruto and I were taught this at a young age during our first year at the academy," Sasuke said, recalling Iruka's teachings to him in Naruto. "That sounds like something I'd do," Shino said. "What a pain," Shikamaru muttered. "Did Iruka-sensei say that? Who would have guessed?" Ino said with a smile. "Actually, that's really nice. Why can't all guys be like that?" Tenten asked, still holding the hedge shears in her hand after hearing what Sasuke said. "Would you please take that away? I still need to revive my clan," screamed Sasuke, gesturing to the hedge shears, while Naruto, Neji, Lee, Shikamaru, Shino, and Choji nodded, sweating bullets. Tenten resealed the hedge clippers, causing the boys to exhale in satisfaction, and Naruto asked, "So, should we just wait until she wakes up?" "No, that could take a long time. In fact, Miharu once slept for a week without waking up." Sigh. "That girl can sleep through a natural catastrophe, I promise. I can only think of one way to rouse her up. Fortunately, we discovered it by chance during one of our meetings. The other route needs her partner," Kira mumbled the final portion. "Just promise me you won't laugh because it's embarrassing." "I promise, Kiraheim, I'll be there for you no matter how embarrassing it is," Naruto said with a reassuring grin. "Alright, here goes. I hope," Kira exclaimed, drawing a deep inhale. "Miharu-chan. Breakfast is served," Kira shrieked in a little girl's voice. "Huh?" said the dog, his ears perking up. "Breakfast? Did you say breakfast?" "Well, that's one way to wake someone up," Naruto said after recovering his calm after hearing what Kira had just said. "Kira, where are we, and why have you made me smaller? Are you being attacked?" Miharu inquired, wiping her hand against her eyes. "No, But I'd like you to inform the rest of the council that the Leaf Village is under attack, and the one who was able to subdue me is leading the charge. He could also still be in this woodland, and he could have felt my chakra surge after summoning you here. We barely escaped, and at our present level, we don't stand a chance against him." Miharu's irises widened as her facial features became more serious, and she raised herself to the height of the nearby trees. "I see, I'll notify the others, and I believe I have a solution to your problem. But I have a hunch you didn't call me here just to instruct me to warn the others." "Heh, heh, heh. Actually, I called you to put the applicant we've selected to the test. He's right here, you overgrown fleabag, and I'll show you how weak you are. Akamaru, let's go." Kiba was on all fours when he was stopped. "How ironic that just earlier you said you could do it without any effort," Akamaru said, staying in Haku's embrace. "If that's accurate, I strongly doubt you need Akamaru," Haku said. Growl, fine. Fang, tunneling. Kiba whirled in midair as he charged directly at Miharu. Just as Kiba was about to make contact with Miharu, she whipped her tail and flicked him to the ground as several diamond-like fragments emerged out of empty air, glowing brilliantly and slowing Kiba's fall and tenderly placing him on the ground, indicating he was asleep. A little arrogant for my liking. Plus, he's impolite, doesn't appear to have a combat plan, favors physical strength, is fast and easy to irritate, and I'm fairly sure giving him my ability will only feed his obnoxious behavior. I have to admit, Kira, I'm surprised that someone like you, who is such a good reader of character, would bring me someone like this. Even your friend and Darcia's successor were more polite than this guy. Because he isn't the candidate we selected for you, Miharu-sama. Kiba Inuzuka is the leader of a tribe that trains and breeds ninja canines. Apparently, because he's the clan's heir, he thinks he can win any battle simply by using brute force, gets angry very quickly even for the most ridiculous reason, and apparently likes to downgrade women, who he actually addresses in the reference of an animal, Naruto said. Inuzuka. Kira, you don't believe he's, I'm not sure, but if he is, I'm sure both of them will put him back in his place. What exactly are you on about, Kira? Don't be concerned, Naruto-kun, it's nothing serious. I was just thinking out loud, Kira said, beaming. Well, I'll take your word for it, Naruto said. Giggle, he refers to you as his princess, which is adorable. I can tell he cares about you, Kira. Yes, well, I did call you here to evaluate your candidate, Kira blushed. Shikamaru Nara, please step forward. Yes, this one seems more interesting than the other boy, Shikamaru said as she moved forward in front of Miharu, her vibrant hazel eyes on him. Despite his sluggish stance, I can tell he's on the lookout for any unexpected action and, no doubt, has his choices and course of action planned. Shikamaru exclaimed, astonished that Miharu could decipher his movements so swiftly just by glancing at his stance. I see that I was right, and judging by the movement you just made, the one behind you, the one with the swirls in his cheeks, is one of your closest friends, who apparently assists you in some kind of combination technique, I presume? Shikamaru said slowly. Calm yourself, Nara-san. I have no intention of ambushing you, nor do I intend to harm your friends, Shikamaru gulped, becoming even more apprehensive in front of a gigantic dingo that could easily brush him off like nothing. I can tell you're a great tactician. Can you tell me about your abilities, Nara-san? Shikamaru was initially apprehensive. It's okay, Shikamaru, she's very friendly, and remember that she's only testing you to see if you meet her qualities. If you don't, nothing bad will happen to you, Kira reassured with a grin. Troublesome. I can use my family's shadow possession jutsu, which allows me to stretch my shadow to capture my opponent's shadow. When my opponent's shadow is caught, he tends to imitate whatever action I make. Groan. What happened to me? Kiba groans and stands up, clutching his head. When he glanced up, he noticed Miharu staring at him. I'll catch you, you big bee. Shadow possession jutsu. Interrupted Shikamaru, forming the rat sign as his shadow extended towards Kiba as Kiba fought to regain control of his body. Kiba. How nice of you to volunteer to help demonstrate this technique to our guest. You're a jerk, Shikamaru. Please let me go. As you can see, as long as my shadow remains connected to his shadow, every movement I make, he copies, Shikamaru disregarded as he lifted his arms up and crouched down in various poses. I see, so that's why you have a second weapons pouch on your back. It allows you to access your weapons while your opponent is ensnared by your shadow. I'm guessing this technique doesn't work well at night? Yeah, it's a pain. Yes, I see. Nara-san. Shikamaru, please call me Shikamaru, Shikamaru said as he drew his shade back. Alright, Shikamaru-san. I've settled on the form tryout for you. If you fail, I will replenish your lost chakra and no damage will come to you. If you die, you will be designated successor to the Dingo clan if you so desire. If you prevail, the decision is entirely yours. Alright, so what exactly is this trial? A small game of tag, but not just any game of tag. Your goal is to effectively contact my shadow with your shadow method, and I will use a basic beam of light that will not hurt you, but you will fail the attempt if the ray of light reaches you. You are free to use whatever instrument you have at your command and take advantage of the nearby terrain, whereas I will only use my diamond shards as a weapon throughout this exercise. Furthermore, your pals are not permitted to intervene in any way. To level the playing field, I will not use my entire strength on you, nor will I use any physical assault. Since you showed me your method, I believe it's reasonable to at least know what you're up against, said Miharu, smiling and lifting her paw, but her claws were a white shining color as several diamond shards emerged out of empty air. As you can see, my claws and fangs are more distinct than those of the other canine members. Though it is more obvious in my claws, I have the ability to fire and make adamant, or diamond shards if you prefer, infused with my chakra to do whatever I want, from basic lighting to firing focused beams of chakra to demolish. Each shard can harden or soften and spread from wherever I want, making it ideal for subterranean stealth assaults. The fragments I'll use will be breakable enough to give you a battling chance while also being powerful enough to deflect and parry weaponry. That's not right. You used your ridiculous tail on me, and you're not even going to assault him physically. Kiba growled as 4 diamond pillars erupted from the earth, each halting inches away from his throat. Growl, be quiet. Otherwise, that mouth of yours will lead you to an early grave, Miharu snarled fiercely as she lowered herself and looked Kiba in the eyes. It's a wonder how you've survived this long with that mouth of yours, but judging by the scent of wolf and morning dew, I can guess that the young wolf cub holding the white puppy is the leader of your small pack based on when you called the young pup's name, but didn't. Wow. Miharu-sama, you got all of that just by sniffing the various scents on Kiba. You must be very intelligent, Tenten exclaimed, her eyes twinkling. Please, young one, just call me Miharu, flushed Miharu as she sat up straighter. You could compare Miharu to our Shikamaru. He's lazy but a tactical genius. Many fights between the Canine Alliance and other enemy tribes have been gained as a result of Miharu's brilliant tactical designs, Kira smiled. Yes, but back to the point, Shikamaru-san, shall we begin? I'll be ready whenever you are. Begin. Jutsu for shadow possession. Shikamaru's shadow rapidly stretched towards Miharu as several fragments emerged in front of her, releasing a brilliant light and forcefully retracting Shikamaru's shadow while shooting tiny rays of light at him. You didn't think it would be that easy, did you? Miharu questioned as Shikamaru's side leapt towards a tree with 2 fragments racing after him. Shikamaru began running up a tree, hurling 2 kunai at the fragments, shattering them rapidly. Shikamaru leapt from tree limb to tree branch as 3 shards pursued him, each firing multiple beams in an attempt to contact him. Shikamaru swiftly pivoted in midair, tossing 3 kunai at each fragment, each striking its target dead on, and launched a salvo of shuriken at Miharu as she responded with a hail of diamonds from her lips. Now's my opportunity. Jutsu for shadow possession. Shikamaru's shadow shot directly at Miharu, targeting at her side, as the first fragments that remained behind swiftly circled around to her side and repelled the shadow. TCH, typical. This kid is trying me to see if I can control my shards while distracting me so he can launch his shadow as a surprise assault. How cunning, Miharu mused. Shikamaru dropped to the ground, narrowly avoiding several beams aimed at him as he moved deeper into the forest, hiding behind a large tree. Come on, Shikamaru, think. Those shards from earlier are protecting her from my shadow, and she can use the other shards as replacements or shields to protect herself, so taking out those shards would be a waste of time. What if Shikamaru's musings were cut short when 2 giant shards about half his size appeared on both sides of him? Damn it, she found me. Shikamaru swiftly snatched 2 kunai from his weapon pouch, embedding them in the big shards at both his sides and shattering them instantaneously. Got to keep going. Shikamaru dashed at Miharu, hurling a kunai with a tiny bag affixed to the ring at the end of the handle. Let's see how you manage this move. The kunai landed several feet in front of him as the bag dispersed, launching a barrage of kunai directly towards Miharu. Jutsu for shadow possession. Shikamaru's silhouette spread out in 2 directions. Miharu was standing at the edge of the woodland when she noticed a bombardment of kunai aimed directly at her. She sent out a barrage of shards to deflect the kunai when she noticed 2 shadows nearing her. Miharu conjured 4 enormous diamonds hanging in midair around her, all of which glowed brilliantly as they repulsed the 2 shadows. All of the fragments flashed at once. That implies that they are all linked in some manner. This isn't acceptable. I believe I'll have to take her seriously. Despite his ability to read and discern movements, his innate quickness and speed, and the fact that he moves through the woods and ground like a deer, I can still feel a higher force within him. Heh, come on, son, you might be one of the few who can make me take you seriously, even if I do grant you a handicap, Miharu thought. Diamond barrage. Miharu motioned her paw in a diagonal arch, leaving a large white glowing gash in mid-air as the gash broke, creating the sound of broken glass with lots of diamond shards twirling in mid-air as they all stopped instantly and charged straight through the trees, avoiding all of the trees at the same time. Not good, Shikamaru thought as Miharu's attack found him instantly as each shard let loose beams of light creating a near impossible obstacle course that changed instantly whenever he moved, with Shikamaru throwing kunai and shuriken trying to destroy as much as he could without depleting too many of his ninja tools. Man. This has quickly risen to the top of my most difficult things to do list, but for some reason, it feels like I'm having fun because there's no danger of being killed, almost like playing shogi against Naruto and Sasuke. All her moves are carefully calculated, each move serving a different purpose. Not ideal. I need to put her on the defensive with my next play or I'll get caught. Along with the others, everyone was amazed as Shikamaru dodged and battled each of Miharu's fragments. Amazing, I never knew Shikamaru was this agile, said Ino as he watched the fight.
Is this how he gets when he gets serious in a fight? Sasuke wondered.
No, Shikamaru is just getting serious. I've known him for a long time, and when he gets into something, he'll start pulling out every strategy he has to win, Choji stated confidently. The same could be said of Miharu. She's like a female version of Shikamaru and Choji. Her gut is like a bottomless hole, and when she's tired, all she wants to do is slumber. However, if you give her the proper circumstances or a task that she is interested in, she can take things to a whole new level. However, if you give her a strong opponent who is on par with her mentality, anything can happen, Kira said. So the battle between two lazy geniuses has now become a battle of true geniuses. I'm curious what would happen if Shikamaru won. Naruto was puzzled. The possibilities are limitless, it's all up to fate, Neji explained. Fate is one thing, Neji Nissan, but when someone has complete faith in their abilities to give it their all, anything is possible, even the impossible, Hinata said. Perhaps you're right, Hinata-sama, together with Anko. Anko had met several ninja teams, but none of them were the one she was searching for, and she was relaxing on one of the big limbs. Where has he gone? Anko caressed her shoulder where Naruto's mark was, and her curse mark was immediately beneath it. If only I could retain Naruto's mark without this dreadful curse mark, everything would be ideal. Orochimaru? Anko exclaimed as he sensed a huge chakra spike emerge from somewhere deep within the jungle. No, it's not the same. It could be Kira-chan attempting to protect the others. I pray I'm not too late, Anko thought as he approached the chakra surge. Elsewhere, everything is proceeding according to plan, said a figure jumping on the tree limbs, his yellow silted pupils gleaming with malicious purpose. The leaf village will soon be brought to its knees, and Sasuke will search me out for more strength.
The only issue is the evil Kyuubi child. I never thought I'd see another silver fox after what occurred ages ago. Orochimaru came to a halt on a tree limb when he detected a recognizable chakra signature. Oh. What exactly is this? Oh, Anko-chan, how strange that you should appear here of all locations. It appears that the corpses of my victims were discovered sooner than anticipated. Regardless, perhaps I can use this to my advantage and use Anko.
This chakra, no question the Kyuubis, but why the sudden increase? Orochimaru's musings were interrupted when he sensed a huge chakra spike several miles distant behind Anko. Oh, there appears to be another mystery signature with her, but it is stronger. That has to be Sasuke using the strength of his curse mark. It's incredible. The raw strength emanating from it is absolutely amazing. If Sasuke survived and is still able to use his wolf chakra in conjunction with the curse mark, I'd say the improved form of the curse mark was a triumph. I guess I should credit the Kyuubi brat for fortifying Sasuke beforehand with those cursed flea bags. The idiot had no idea he was fortifying my new future body. Soon, my real strength will be restored to its previous grandeur, but first, it appears, I must care for Anko-chan. After all, I can't have her meddling with my schemes, Orochimaru reasoned as he pursued Anko. The trial of Shikamaru leapt from tree to tree, trying his hardest to escape the light beam until he saw Miharu standing just outside the tree line, almost there. Whatever you're plotting, Shikamaru-san, I won't give you time to carry it out. While I'm in this shape, you may have the benefit of being small, but that can rapidly change. I'll wear you out before that occurs, and then the game is mine, a determined Miharu thought. Here goes nothing, thought Shikamaru as he leapt from one higher tree limb to another, jumping over Miharu's head as he breached the tree line, Suck on this. Shikamaru launched a salvo of Canine and shuriken at Miharu. I don't believe so. Adamant bind with diamond dust. All of the previously broken diamonds, as well as those found in the forest, rapidly fused together, forming 4 large diamond tendrils that flew towards Shikamaru in midair. You left yourself wide open. The tentacles quickly diverted the weaponry, shattering the tips of the tentacles as several smaller tentacles headed towards Shikamaru while in midair, shooting rays of light at him only for a log to materialize. He evaded it. Jutsu for shadow possession. Shikamaru's silhouette approached Miharu from behind. An assault from behind. I was correct. They are linked in some way, said Miharu as 2 of her bigger fragments rushed at Shikamaru, shining brilliantly with the remaining 2 at her side in the tentacles. Now I can put that to good use. As Shikamaru vanished in a cloud of smoke, the 2 large diamonds charged forward, rejecting Shikamaru's shadow, and rapidly fired bigger rays of light than the other diamonds. I now have you. Ninja techniques. Shadow concealment. Shikamaru emerged in front of the tree line, shouting, Jutsu, release. Several kunai implanted in the floor and branches unleashed a barrage of kunai all aimed at Miharu. Command release seals. When did he become capable? Flashback. This stinks. Shikamaru launched a salvo of kunai and shuriken at Miharu. I don't believe so. Adamant bind with diamond dust. All of the previously broken diamonds, as well as those found in the forest, rapidly fused together, forming several large diamond tendrils that flew towards Shikamaru in midair. You left yourself wide open. The tentacles swiftly diverted the weaponry, shattering the tentacle tips. Flashback comes to an end. He knew I could easily divert them and would simply ignore them. Ambush on crystal. Shadow possession jutsu. Shattered all but one of the diamond tentacles cascading down from the heavens, catching the kunai. Shikamaru stretched his shadow, dividing it into different locations, while Miharu's diamonds shone brilliantly, pushing his shadow back while still deflecting the torrent of kunai. As anticipated, Miharu said as he guided the remaining diamond tentacle behind Shikamaru. You walked right into my snare. Miharu directed one of her larger diamonds and immediately launched a beam of light directly at Shikamaru. The second he noticed the tentacle's light fade, Shikamaru instantly concentrated his shadow straight at Miharu. The second he noticed the tentacle's light dim. Shogi checkmate. Both exclaimed. Shikamaru's shirt was lit up by Miharu's crystal, and Shikamaru's shadow had effectively contacted Miharu's shadow. Except for Kira and Shino, everyone who was watching had insect eyes and widening mouths. That's Shikamaru when he's trying. Ino stuttered. He actually forced her into a draw? A perplexed Naruto exclaimed. I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it, Sasuke said. Well, this really calls into question my faith in fate. Not even Tobo-sama went that hard on me, a wide-eyed Neji said, shaking his head in accord with Lee and Tenten. Everyone else was shocked and couldn't say anything. Excellent Shikamaru-san, you have exceeded all of my expectations. You're constantly aware of your surroundings, you're able to manipulate an opponent's movement to your advantage, you use even the smallest of details to your advantage, you're quite agile, making it difficult for attacks to hit you, and you seem to test your theories about your opponent right in the middle of the battlefield despite having the disadvantage. I must say, I'm very impressed with you, but then again, it should come naturally to someone who plays shogi and forces me into a draw, grinned Miharu, her jewels vanishing into thin air, and Shikamaru retracting his shadow as he panted heavily on his knees. As difficult as this was, I have to admit that it was somewhat enjoyable knowing that your life wasn't on the line, forcing me to use and improvise all of my strategies, almost like a giant game of shogi. Even if you did capture me, I believe I would have passed your exam. I see nothing escapes you, does it? I can see why Kira chose you to represent our tribe. You're right, the instant you caught me off guard the first time, you already possessed all of the qualities I sought, but I was intrigued how far your abilities would take you before you surrendered. Fortunately, I was able to observe directly a most daring plan, taking advantage of the fact that I would not assault you physically if you were standing directly in front of me. Didn't you have the ability to avoid my attack? Yes, but that would be cheating and breaking my word on my part.
I could have easily dodged it with the diamond in front of you tagging you, allowing me to win, but to dodge the attack would actually require me shifting into my human form and attacking you head-on out of reflex after fighting so many battles during my time.
Surely as a ninja you can empathize with this concept, which is very difficult to dismiss. As a result of the encircling trees, you could say I was imprisoned. So, Shikamaru-san, what are your thoughts? Will you embrace being the Dingo clan's heir?
Of course, why not? That diamond talent could help me with my shadow techniques, and I might be able to blend the two. It would make battling less difficult. Yawn. And I could swiftly return to observing the sky. Shikamaru yawned leisurely.
Here, take my paw, Miharu said as Shikamaru grasped it. Shikamaru Nara, I hereby grant you my power. Shikamaru was engulfed by a black and white flame that rapidly faded away, showing Shikamaru with two long black dingo ears and pure white talons like Miharu, but he appeared to be in agony. Are you okay, Shikamaru-san? Miharu inquired, concerned that he was having a bad impact on her chakra. Grunt, please pardon me for a moment. Choji, I need your help with something, Shikamaru said hoarsely. Shikamaru guided Choji into the woods behind a tree, causing everyone to fret until Kira had an epiphany. Was it only me, or did anyone else spot Shikamaru?
Rip. Damn it, that hurts. Exclaimed Shikamaru. Never mind, Kira said as Choji and Shikamaru returned to the group, Shikamaru groaning while lazily waving a single black dingo tail and grabbing Naruto and Sasuke by the neck of their shirts and pulling them close. Next time, how about a warning that tails can get jammed inside your boxers, or the fact that my chakra control is completely shot?
Do you realize how difficult it is to redo all of that work? Choji had to poke a hole in my trousers and underwear just to get the troublesome object through. Also, you never mentioned how delicate the hair is, Shikamaru murmured. You could have just taken both off and done it yourself, Sasuke said quietly. Then I wouldn't know if the holes were properly aligned, if I cut in the correct location, or if I cut too much or too little on both. Shikamaru murmured, now I have to modify all of my clothing. Ahem, we hear you, Shikamaru. Miharu, Hinata, Kira, Haku, and Sakura blushed as Ino said, sensitive ears remember. What a drag, my mom's probably going to throw a fit or bleed my ears to death over this. This also has an impact on your parents. Both of them, like Hiyashi-sama and Hanabi, could have acquired the same characteristics as you. Only family relations you consider close, such as your parents, are impacted by this change. Everyone else is unaffected, Kira stated. Does that mean my father might be? Inquired Ino, with Kira nodding her head in response to her unresolved query. I've got a lot of explaining to do back home, whined Ino. Great, I'm now condemned. Start searching for a replacement for me because my mother is about to murder me. Shikamaru-san, I apologize for interrupting, but I need to clarify a few things to you. I've provided you some fundamental information of the dingo's fighting style, as well as some spear fighting and diamond-based jutsu that I know. Because I know you have an earth connection, this should help you manage your diamonds. Also, I'd like you to autograph the dingo summoning scroll, but I'll keep it until I can speak with your folks. Simply write your name in blood in the space, and place the hand you want to conjure, Miharu said, releasing a brownish-red chakra that materialized a massive scroll.
Shikamaru sliced his right hand at Miharu's request.
Excellent hand seals include a boar, a tiger, a bird, a horse, and a dog. There's also a small gift to help you in your fights, Miharu said, releasing brownish-red chakra once more and a spear materializing in front of Shikamaru, settling in his open palms as he admired the weapon in front of him. The weapon had a long, smooth, fall brown shaft with gold trimmings, a medium-sized, golden, cylinder-shaped jagged edge at the bottom, and a long double-edged blade that sparkled brilliantly in the sun like diamonds. I could get used to this, Shikamaru said, skillfully whirling the spear in his hands, bending down while passing it behind his back, and instantly holding it firm in a diagonal position with his two hands gripping it tight, his right hand on the center and his left hand near the lower end, with both feet planted firmly on the ground in a crouching position. The blade was forged from my fang, and the pole, which was carved from a regular cherry tree, was coated with a special residue made from my claws. Both are as hard as the hardest diamonds ever made, putting it on level with several other legendary weapons. When combined with chakra, it can make diamonds of its own. However, the sword must be in touch with some type of solid surface. A formidable weapon in the right hands, Miharu said, shifting her gaze to Kira. As for your issue, these diamonds should help you with anything. Because it's already fused with my chakra, all you have to do is think of what you want it to do. Blind an opponent, use it as a light source, generate a shockwave, or transform it into a weapon, but it's only useful for one use. If you transform the diamond into a weapon, you will have 1 hour before it fractures. Otherwise, it will be usable for 30 minutes or less based on how you use it. Be careful how you use them, Kira. Thank you, Miharu. You've been a great help, Kira said as she placed 4 tiny gems in a small pocket inside her trench coat. Aren't you forgetting anything? Exclaimed Kiba.
Ah yes, the loudmouth boy with the temper. I wondered why it was so quiet, an irritated Miharu said as the pillars near Kiba's neck fractured and vanished into empty air. Well, I have to go now, all this work has made me hungry, and then I'm off to nap. exclaimed Miharu as she vanished in a puff of smoke. I'll never know how that girl became a top-tier strategist and fighter, sighed Kira. From here on out, we're going our separate ways.
Agreed. Traveling in a large group could attract unwanted attention, Neji said. Neji, a little help, Shikamaru said, his gaze fixed on Tenten's spear, the craftsmanship on the pole, the craftsmanship of these marvelous designs, the quality of the blade that shows its awesome strength, all perfectly balanced into this spear. It's so beautiful. Okay, Tenten, let's go, murmured Neji as she walked away from Shikamaru, lifting up Tenten in bridal manner. But I wasn't even allowed to touch it. Forget about it, Tenten, Neji said. At the very least, let me try it, grumbled Tenten. Tenten, let it go. Can I at least see your twin ninja Ken swords? We've already discussed this, Tenten. You're such a jerk, Neji, grumbled Tenten. Did you get married while I was sleeping, Neji? I idiot, asked Lee, making Neji and Tenten instantly blush after realizing their position and quickly separated. I idiot. Don't say things like that, Lee, Tenten chastised. But you two fight like a married couple, Lee said as he struck his nice guy stance. Such things are the signs of blossoming youth.
If you have time to discuss, youth, you have energy to spare. I didn't hurt my back dragging your sorry butt around to hear another of your, youth, lectures. So gather your belongings and let's go, Neji said, grabbing Lee by the ear.
Everyone collected their things, with teams 7, 8, 9, 10, and Kin splitting up. Many kilometers ahead, teams 7 and Kin were heading towards the tower in the middle of the forest, looking for any sign of Kin's colleagues, when they came across someone laying on the ground with different injuries. When they approached the wounded individual, they noticed that he or she was wearing a tan trench coat, purple hair wrapped in a messy ponytail, and fox ears and 2 foxtails with khaki ends sticking out from under the trench coat. Anko Heim. Naruto dashed towards Anko's corpse, trailed by Hinata, Kira, Sasuke, and Kin. Anko Heim, are you okay? Please contact me, said a panicked Naruto, clutching Anko. En Naruto Koi, you're okay, Anko said, opening one of her eyes in agony. Thank you, God. Who is it that did this to you? I'll make them pay for this, yelled an enraged Naruto, threatening the individual who had tried to hurt one of his friends. Oh, Orochimaru, but there was something odd about him. It was like he was possessed or something, Anko moaned. Possessed? What exactly do you mean by possessed? Is he being controlled by something? During our fight, he just started screaming in pain, saying I had to kill him before the white snake could take control of his body. Again, groaned Anko, losing consciousness as Kira paled from what she had just heard. Anko Heim. It's okay, she just lost consciousness, and her wounds don't appear to be too serious. Hinata observed her wounds. What did she mean when she said Orochimaru was possessed? And who is the white snake? Kin inquired. Your guess is as good as ours, Kin, Sasuke said.
The white snake. Everyone looked at Kira, noticing her terrified expression. The white snake is an evil and corrupted monster who cared nothing more than to gain more and more power, which he did by committing one of the most unforgivable crimes of all time. He ate God's angels, and as a result, he was able to go up to 10 taels of power. Only one individual could halt him. My grandfather, Hiroshi Yoko, got the first silver fox. To be continued.
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for your help and support, and have a great day.